I have not always looked this great. I just recently had a huge weight loss journey unfold, and that's you, Daddy. Look at you. You're the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that guy is like a warrior. I'm like, ouch. Fullback, you get one. You get one guy. And so I had to be like unequivocally the best in the NFC conference to go because initially I got looked at sideways as like, why would I listen to this NFL guy about healthcare? Any of these solutions that you're bringing me, any of these products that you're talking about, any of these devices that you want to sell me, why would I listen to you? Like, when it was my turn and I saw my big self on the big jumbotron, I'm like, this doesn't feel good. I was like, I don't know who that is. I was like, but you know what? I want to come back from that. And I want to find ways I had like a Rocky montage type of off season where I'm literally training, I'm doing acupuncture, I'm doing, chiropractic work, yoga. And I'm just like, if I'm going out, I'm going to go out giving everything I got. Because people dream to get to the level I'm on.
Welcome to Leadership Talks, the podcast where we dive into the heart of leadership, strategy, and impact with some of the most inspiring and innovative minds today. I'm your host, Martin Rowinski, CEO and co-founder of Boardsi. Today, we have the privilege of speaking with Ovie Mughelli, a former NFL player whose journey from the gridiron to healthcare and advocacy is nothing short of remarkable. Ovie's transition from professional sports to becoming a vocal advocate for healthcare illuminates a path of purpose, resilience, and leadership. Today, we'll explore how the high-stakes world of NFL has shaped his approach to leading and advocating for better health outcomes. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Martin. I really appreciate it, my friend.
I've been looking forward to this. I mean, I haven't seen you in a couple years. And before we kick it off, I said I'll ask you this at the end, but you look great. I mean, just great. Awesome.
Thank you. No, I have not always looked this great. I just recently had a huge weight loss journey unfold, and I'm almost to where I want to be at. But Martin, I was 320 pounds for like the last 4 years. Like since the pandemic, everyone gained weight in the pandemic. The problem was I never lost my weight from the pandemic. It was 22, 23, and I was still 300, 320 pounds. Like I played at 250. And so it wasn't until just recently, 4 or 5 months ago, I went back to a Baltimore Ravens game, and I hadn't been to Baltimore to see my teammates and to watch them play in almost 15 years. So I went back. My teammates were like, who are you? Because my face was swollen and I looked like an offensive lineman. I played running back, and they laid into me from Ray Lewis to to Ed Reed and Todd Heap and Jonathan Ogden. All these Hall of Famers and Ravens, Hall of Famers were just giving me the business. And guys will be guys, but it's starting to hurt a little bit. I was like, oh, come on, guys, like I came back with just the motivation to where what. That's exactly what I need. And like, I love tough love. I love hard coaching. I love people who tell you the truth and who are transparent. And those guys were a little too transparent. But it got me to the point where I got back to Atlanta and I made sure that, here's my plan for success. Changing up my diet, going to Orange Theory Fitness and doing hot yoga and just, finding ways to really be intentional about putting myself in positions to win. And, lo and behold, I got my abs back, and I got like a lot of compliments from people, especially my wife. She's been, very grateful that I've gone from 320 to 255.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And I'm sure your son is now like, okay, now Dad, you look like that guy you showed me a picture of.
Exactly. Yeah, he was giving me grief. All my kids, especially my son, because I have a trophy room down here in the basement where I
Yeah.
got all these pictures of me, like a Greek god and
Who's that guy?
a warrior. And my son's like, "Yeah, who is that guy?" I'm like, "Well, that's me." He's like, "That's you, Daddy. Look at you. You're the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that guy is like, a warrior." I'm like, ouch. Okay, duly noted. But now, like, my son's like, "Daddy, you look like a superhero." I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting there." So it's
Just
cool.
like that comic book.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. So, jumping right into it, can you share how your experience in the NFL has shaped your approach to leadership and advocacy?
Yeah, absolutely. The National Football League is something to where when you're in it, you have you can't be in awe of yourself. You're not allowed to be like, "Oh my god," and some guys still do, but the best ones, it's Tuesday. It's Sunday. It's just another day. This is just what I do. This is who I am. This is whatever. Like, if you sit there and actually sit back and be like, "Oh my gosh, I am the top 1% of the top 1%. Oh my goodness, there are
Yeah.
80,000 fans screaming my name. Like, oh my gosh, like the people I used to watch when I was in high school and college are sitting right next to me. Like, that's primetime Deion Sanders. I'm at a table, eating lunch with Ray Lewis. I used to watch him when he was in Miami. Like, I'm playing with Tony Gonzalez. Like, these are Hall of Famers, the best ever. If you are in that state, you'll never really, I think, reach your full potential because you'll be too busy in all of the opportunity that you've been put in. But once you retire, and you can kind of reflect on the interactions, the relationships, the lessons you learned, you realize that there are leadership qualities that were being kind of just ingrained in you the whole time. Uh, you have got to be somebody who makes people around you better. The ones who last in the league more than 2 or 3 years are the ones who are able to lead. And usually it doesn't just pop up in the NFL. It's something that you showed glimpses of in college. You show the ability to do in high school. Most guys who are in the NFL, they had to be leaders in the high school because they're so uber talented that in that high school level they stood out. So everyone looked to them, and
Yeah.
that was my role when I was in high school. Like, I was the leading tackler on defense. I had the leading rusher on offense, and in college as well. All American, all ACC. But then the NFL, you're you're tested because everyone's good. Everyone has talent. Everyone's big, fast, and strong. And the leadership qualities that you learn in the NFL, they're refined to a special point because you have to understand when to lead and when to be a role player. You can't have a whole bunch of Chiefs and no Indians, and it's something that, again, not a lot of players, a lot of NFL teams are able to deal with that. You see chaos sometimes because you get big, strong personalities because you've always
Yeah.
been the greatest. You've always been the best. You've always been the talker. You've always made the halftime speech. But now sometimes you have to learn how to serve, how to play a role, how to assist. And my job, for those who understand football, being a fullback, I'm like the ultimate blue collar role player.
Yeah.
And even though I was the best at that fullback position, I was a two-time All-Pro fullback, and went to the Pro Bowl in 2011 as the NFC representative. Other positions, like wide receivers, you get 3 wide receivers go to the Pro Bowl. Quarterback, you get 3 quarterbacks. Fullback, you get one. You get one guy, and so I had to be like unequivocally the best in the NFC conference to go to Hawaii and represent us to the Pro Bowl, and I was. But I think that year especially, I understood that even though I was a role player, I can lead from behind, and I can lead as a role player to be able to assist Michael Turner and Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Tony Gonzalez and all these guys who are usually the front of the magazine, and they get the interviews first. I can help these guys be at their best. So I had some pretty amazing leadership lessons through my NFL career.
That's so awesome. I love it. And it is, I mean, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
I'm uh, the other football soccer
Mhm.
player, as we say in US,
Yep.
grew up in Europe. And I mean, that's a sport that's just like that. It's not, yeah, you can have a great player, but without support, without the team, no great player is going to win everything. So it's a team sport. And I think you do pick up a lot of leadership. And obviously you did. And you made that transition, quite a shift into healthcare. And I know you're involved in quite a lot in healthcare, but what ignited that shift for you?
Really, my mom and my dad. I mean, they inspired a lot of who I am today. But my father is a lifetime healthcare advocate, and it's just one of the coolest people. Has one of the coolest job. I spoke to him last night, and we were just talking, just father and son, and he's he's making fun of me now because I was coming to him with some of the things that I used to do with his grandkids, my kids, and I'm like, Bossy, my son, like I just can't get him to focus. He's like, huh, interesting that is an issue of yours because when you were a child, focusing was not your strong point. I was like, okay, touche. But my dad is an OBGYN. He's I think he's the best in the world, but he is one of the best in the country, and very uh, decorated in South Carolina because I think he told me like it's around like 12,500 and like 32 babies he's delivered in 45
Sheesh.
years practicing, and he's good at what he does, but he works at it, and he is just I won't say perfectionist, but he's always trying to improve himself. And he's always trying to, find ways to become better because lives are on the line. He's bringing lives into the world. He's trying to preserve the lives that those lives are coming from. And
Yeah.
he always talks about, he's like, I can't have a bad day. I can't. It's just like not like, oh, everyone else, oh, you're a mechanic. I had a bad day, I didn't fix the car as well as I want to, or hey, I had a bad day, I'm doing, what we do in the media space, or but doctors, especially doctors like him, you can't have bad days. So the
Yeah.
way my dad worked in the healthcare space, the passion that he talked about it, and he made a lot of money. We were blessed and grew up in the suburbs, upper middle class, with my father, and he was motivated. But seeing him with all of his prestige and with all of his status being solely concerned, primarily concerned with the good he was doing, the I guess the purpose that he felt that God gave him to bring lives to this world safely and to be able to just guide these young mothers and or these mothers into understanding the gift that they're given and understand the responsibility that they now have. And so he didn't just bring babies to the world. He was a GYN, so he dealt with women and all their issues and health and everything else. And it was just cool coming back from football practice and going to my dad's office. I'm filing papers, I'm cleaning the floor, I'm cleaning the toilets, I'm answering phones, and watching my dad and my mom do their thing. I was just like, this is what I want to do. I want to help people with I feel like the most important thing in their life is, which is their health. Health is wealth, and now that I've been able to do well and make seven figures and live out you know some of my dreams. I see people who are also wealthy and don't have the health that would give all their money in a heartbeat to just have
Mm.
the ability to walk or to to run or to breathe or to have their mind work the way it's supposed to. So I was just like, you know what? After my NFL career, I can't be a doctor because I'm not going to med school. My sister and my dad have that. But what I want to do is I want to help doctors. I want to find ways to bring solutions, find ways to not just help doctors, but find ways to use healthcare as you know, an avenue to allow people to reach their goals, to achieve their best self, to really go after their dreams. Because when you have that health, the sky's the limit. So my dad, it's huge influence on me to try and get in the healthcare space, and more importantly, make a difference in the healthcare space.
That's awesome. I and kudos to your dad. He delivering babies. Not every delivery is a smooth sail, push and you're done. I mean, like you said, you got two lives there, and sometimes they're complicated. So
Oh yeah,
that can be a stressful job, and sounds like he's done a incredible job at it. So that's awesome. Kudos, and he raised a great son. So even better.
thank you.
So obviously in professional sports, you guys discipline is I mean, you have to have it or else you're not going to be successful. You obviously were successful. How do you think that can be applied towards personal health or towards being in the healthcare industry and being a leader in it like you are? Have you seen that? Do you feel like that has helped you out?
1,000%. Discipline. I mean, it's just the weight loss I talked about at the beginning of the beginning of the podcast. I did not have success because my why wasn't strong enough. The discipline that I needed in order to achieve this, like I just did not. I wasn't able to capture, my why. And discipline's a lot easier when you have something pushing you. When you have a goal you're going after, and you have purpose behind that goal. And it's unfortunate that it took some teammates pointing things out to me, but um, discipline got me here. Discipline got me to find success after football. Discipline got me to be able to be respected in the healthcare space amongst my peers, because initially I got looked at sideways as like, why would I listen to this NFL guy about healthcare? Any of these solutions that you're bringing me, any of these products that you're talking about, any of these, devices that you want to sell me, why would I listen to you? Like, about catching footballs and scoring touchdowns, and most football players are big meatheads, and it burned my britches. It just it angered me that people put me in a box and didn't give me the respect I thought I was due. But at the same at the same vein, they had a point. I had to prove myself. I had to show them what I could do. It took a while for me to deliver on the promises I made, because all people who work in sales make a lot of promises. Very few people actually deliver on them. So my biggest thing as I was growing up, or as I was transitioning out of NFL and getting to the healthcare space, was deliver. I deliver. If I say something, I mean it. And after having time after time after time where I delivered, and having the discipline to make that one of my, strategic differences, doctors would say, "Hey, you should talk to Ovie if you really want to find success, or you should talk to Ovie if you really want to grow your practice. You should really talk to Ovie if you want to, be able to make a little more money." I didn't take that lightly, because you can lose that confidence, respect, trust like that, but it takes a long time to gain it. And that, and anyone
Yeah,
who's a professional understands that. But the discipline that it takes just to sometimes do the boring things, the day in, the day out, boring things that will make sure you present yourself as you want to. That's something that I learned from football. The workouts, the film studies, the fundamentals that we forget about. It's always interesting or funny when at the highest level of the NFL, like, we're the best of the best, like, we're the gladiators that these young college and high school kids look to. Sometimes we got to go back to the building basic blocks, like just the get off, down to hut, and then the get off, and hand placement, and just how to um run plays, and catching the ball before you turn and run. Because how many times in the NFL you see guys who the ball's there, someone's about to hit them, and they're turning their head and they're moving before the ball's got their hands
yeah,
yet. Like, the simple basic fundamentals. And if you can get good at that in the NFL and understand how to translate those same lessons, characteristics, tools, you can be successful in almost anything. But again, that's the hardest part. Guys don't know how to transition those lessons they learn. And I was blessed where, again, it wasn't automatic. I had to feel my way around, but I've been able, for the most part, use discipline that was learned on the football field to help me succeed in the healthcare space, and in a lot of other work that I do.
absolutely. And in business, just like in sports, teamwork, and we were talking about teamwork earlier, is important, and collaboration is important. And sounds like you been able to collaborate and work that out, and being referred to now, like you said, earned your
Yeah.
respect. So wasn't easy, but it does take time and patience. So Um, and I know, on top of everything, I know you speak a lot on stages. I mean, we met at a conference originally, and you've spoken about resilience both in sports and live. How can individuals cultivate resilience in facing health challenges?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that really it just goes to understanding how you feel, as bad as that may be, understanding how you feel at some of your worst moments, and just making a pact with yourself that you're not going to feel this way ever again. It's just like, again, go back to, because it's fresh in my mind, my weight loss journey. I understood exactly how I felt when I was sitting there at the Ravens Stadium. They called the whole former Ravens alumni on the field, and Lamar Jackson slapped my hand going down. We were down the field next to the cheerleaders, and they had it on the big screen. Everyone was cheering us, and they were kind of going through, and everyone's waving their hand. And when it was my turn and I saw myself, my big self on the big jumbotron, I'm like, this doesn't feel good. I was like, I don't know who that is. I was like, but you know what? I want to come back from that, and I want to find ways to, get into a healthy space. And I just, every time I wanted to eat that pizza, I wanted to get that burger, didn't want to go work out, I remembered, where I was and where I wanted to be. And the resiliency that I found in that, it's the same one again. You don't have to be in the NFL, but there are situations in your life that you can lean on, that you can kind of think back on and say, you know what, I can do this. I've overcome small things, big things, medium things. We
Yeah.
forget who we are. We forget how resilient the human mind is, the human body is. But we've all done, especially if we've lived long enough, we've all done some amazing things to be at our best in life. And so with me, I have a whole bunch of football stories where it's just, I'm trying to um, play football, but the National Football League is a tough one. It's a tough. My dog is trying to. Hey,
Oh,
Asher.
it's all good.
Yeah, you need to let
Oh,
Daddy do his podcast. All right, all right.
is that a golden doodle or
It's a gold
labradoodle?
doodle. Say hi,
I
Asher.
I have a golden doodle too.
All
How
right,
funny.
all right. Now go to Obasi. Obasi, take Asher upstairs. Dave's on the podcast. Sorry,
That's
kids,
okay.
life. There's no locked door in
Dogs.
my non-existent studio. But no, I got injured my second year, tore my hamstring off the bone, had a big puddle of like purple-ish looking blood in my hamstring, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to rehab enough to where my NFL career would last more than a year and a half. And I had like a Rocky montage type of off season where I'm literally training, I'm doing acupuncture, I'm doing, chiropractic work, yoga. And I'm just like, I'm not, if I'm going out, I'm going to go out giving everything I got. Because people dream to get to the level I'm on. For me to be right here, for the goals that I've had for a decade plus to be right within my grasp, and me not work as hard as I've ever worked before, or harder than I've ever worked before, that's doing me disservice. That's doing my dad a disservice. That's doing my family a disservice. That's doing everyone who's believed in me a disservice, because like, if you're not going to go all out for an opportunity like this, then what are you doing? And doing that, in NFL, coming back from deficits where we're losing games, and just being able to find ways to continue overcoming. You're training your brain, you're training your brain, you're training your heart, training your soul to just strengthen your resolve, and know that I can get through anything. I can get past
Yeah.
anything. But it's just knowing before that challenge even comes up that you have that ability. That's what's important, so it can automatically turn on. Just
Yeah.
like I know, because of my training, that when a linebacker blitzes and I'm about to hit him, that I can take him. There's no doubt, there's no fear. There's like, my body's trained, and I know what my body can do. If your mind is trained and you know what your mind can do, when you get setbacks, when you, like, for healthcare, my sales world, I don't close a deal, or we lose a huge client, or things don't go our way, I know how I can respond, because my mind's already trained to where It's all good. We're gonna get over that. So yeah, I'd say resiliency in healthcare, resiliency in life. It's huge, and I love to talk to corporate communities and a lot of business groups because I think setbacks is part of success. There's no, as you know, there's no CEO, there's no corporate person who's been
No.
able to truly be successful without a numerous round setbacks. So I just talk about that from the football perspective.
Yeah, no, 100%. Setbacks are what makes people successful. I look at all my setbacks and challenges, and they're all stepping stones to success. So, 100% agreed. As a speaker in healthcare, what are the key messages you aim to convey about maximizing healthcare benefits and wellness?
Well, I really talk about when you want to discuss maximizing healthcare benefits and wellness, having the right partners and having the right collaborators, because it's very hard to be the best at everything. It's darn near impossible. It's like
Yeah.
you know if the quarterback could also play my job fullback, who could also play offensive lineman, who also play defense, that's impossible. Even like players like prime time, there are very few prime times in the world. Deion Sanders that can be a defensive cornerback and go be a wide receiver. Like that's rare. And maybe again, three punt returner, two that he was. But you're not going to find a lot of guys, if any, that can be elite at two different things. So if you really want to succeed in the healthcare space, it's about finding someone who's great with the billing and revenue cycle management, finding somebody who's great when it comes to the clinical portion and diagnosing some of these issues, find somebody who's great on the operations side and has the ability to bring it all the pieces together and deal with the administrative ebb and flow of hiring the right people, firing the right people, knowing how to put people in positions to win. That's where, and I've been blessed to work with some hospital systems. I've been blessed to work with some large corporate organizations. One of the programs I'm really excited about, we have the ability to bring in a Section 125 fully insured indemnity plan. It's just a fancy word to say it's like a health management program that can give give the employer the ability to incentivize their their employees to be proactive on their health, because our people are our biggest asset, and you want your people to
Yeah.
know that we're doing all we can to keep you healthy. But the great part of the program is that because it's a government program, we can do it at no net cost. So the employees get to get
It's
pay
incredible.
raises, extra benefits, while the employer gets tax savings for even getting involved in the program. We just closed a couple of large Fortune 500 companies, and it's really exciting because most companies, they lose employees because someone's offering better pay and better benefits elsewhere. So when we're able to offer them a program that gives them better pay and better benefits, they love it. But the program involves bringing different pieces of their organization together and everyone working together, and that's kind of what I do. I make sure everyone knows what their job is, what their role is, and we all just do it. So things like that I can offer businesses and unique ways I can really add value. That's what helps me sleep at night. That's what helps me get up in the morning. That's what makes me drive 2-3 hours to reach different parts of Georgia so I can have these conversations face to face.
Your mission and vision match up with what you do. So why would you not love it?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. How do you see the role of athletes and public figures in shaping public health policy and awareness?
I think it's huge. I mean, athletes, by our nature, whether right or wrong, we have a superpower, and that's where people want to watch us. People want to hear what we have to say.
Yeah,
Sometimes we don't always have the right things to say, but people do want to hear what we have to say because, we're larger than life. We're, displayed on millions of TVs across the country because we can do things that only 1% of the people in the world can do with some of our athletic, abilities and prowess and whatnot. So, athletes can do a lot of good and unfortunately can do some not so good if they're not setting the right example. And everyone talks about the infamous Charles Barkley. I'm not a role model, but I think anyone who understands that you may not want to be a role model, but you are, whether you want to or not. People are looking up to you. People are following you. People are going to want to do the things you do, how you do them. So why not take advantage of that in the positive sense? So for me, like one of the things that I was really passionate about, and I've been a leader on, is work in the environmental and sustainability space. My kids were born premature. Their lungs were underdeveloped. They were in the NICU already for a month and a half, and they couldn't leave the NICU because the air quality in Atlanta was so bad. And as at the time, I was just named the highest paid fullback in NFL history, signed a contract for $18 million. I'm in my mid 20s and or late 20s, and I'm on top of the world because just got married and multi-millionaire, and I'm like in magazines and everything. All that stuff didn't matter at all because my babies were dealing with something that I didn't know about, didn't care about. I thought the environment was a rich problem or a white problem or someone else's problem, not my problem, you know? And it turned out that it was definitely my problem, air quality
Yeah.
and the smog alerts. And so I wanted to learn more about that. And as I did that, as I kind of poked Arthur Blank to like give me some resources, billionaire Arthur Blank got me with billionaire Ted Turner, who got me with his daughter Lauren Turner Seidel, and the Captain Planet Foundation, and they took me under their wing. And I'm a sponge. I don't know if it's because my parents are academic. I just want to learn as much as I can. And so, Laura took me to all the different galas and gatherings and soirees, and most of the time, like I was the only person of color there. But I was very honored to be there. But as I realized, when we were talking, like, how do you solve this problem? I'm like, well, we should probably employ more people, more diverse people to help solve this problem. I was like, why are there not many people of color in the environmental space? She's like, well, we're working on that. Like, it's something that we're trying to fix. And several leaders in the environmental space had a chance to talk to Al Gore and had a chance to talk to a lot of great people, leaders in the space. And they're like, it's just been an issue. I was like, well, why don't we use sports? Like, well, we don't have any NFL players that are currently taking up the environmental cause. I'm like, well,
You're like
I,
right here.
I'd be happy to do it. And so, you know, with the passion, with the knowledge, and with the platform, as you mentioned earlier, being a professional athlete to connect with people, I just went off. We created a recycle on the run, physical activity obstacle course with environmental brain teasers to teach kids how to recycle. If you recycle while you run, you can recycle while you walk. We came with a green speaker series where we taught kids about green jobs and mostly kids in underprivileged areas and schools that never had environmental entrepreneurs talk to them on career day. We had a green tailgate where we taught sports fans how to tailgate in an environmentally responsible way as well. And finally, we had our piece de resistance. We had a comic book called Gridiron Green, and I grew up on Captain Planet. The black character Kwame was bless you. The black character
Thank you.
Kwame was African, and I'm African. I'm full blooded Nigerian, and so I just loved Kwame in the cartoon, and in the comic book, I could see myself through him. There were not many or if any environmental black superheroes that I knew of. So I was like, I was going to create one called Gridiron Green. And I went to Comic Con, New York, Comic Con San Diego. UNICEF was a partner on it. We had a chance to sell, thousands of comics. And it was just really cool that we were able to start conversations with young kids, especially young kids of color who like more than, a couple said, I've never seen a black environmental superhero. I was like, and that's why I created it. So as an athlete, the fact that, I was a leader in that space, it just shows that, athletes can be leaders in so many different spaces because of the gift of catching a little football, running pretty fast, and, doing some stuff that, it's cool, but like, it's still just some stuff we're doing. Like the real impact we're able to make is when we take those talents and use that to create, transformational change in our post careers. Or you can do it while you're playing, but we we're not playing a lot longer than we are playing. So when you're able to take the platform that that God's given you and you're able to use that for good, that's what it's all about.
It's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that comic book because if you didn't, I was about to ask about it. So, because I remember you shared that with me. So, pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Um, what advice would you give to individuals looking to make a positive impact on their health and the health of their community?
I'm not sure in that way, but the advice I give an individual they want to make a positive impact on their health and the community is really well when it comes to their health. I'd say you have to understand why you're trying to be healthy, because there are so many people who aren't healthy, but it's not like they want to be unhealthy. And I think no
Yeah.
one says, you know what, I don't want to be healthy. Who wants to be healthy? I don't want to be. It's sometimes lack of access to clean, healthy food. Sometimes it's financially, as we all know, with these food deserts and something we talk about with our foundation. You know, cheap, unhealthy food is more accessible and it's easier to come by than healthy food,
Yeah.
and that's something that we got to fix. Those of us who have the power, those of us who are in these meeting rooms, these boardrooms, we got to fix that. Those of us who are in government and politics, which is crazy, we have to fix that. So you can only control what you can control, but I feel like we have a lot to do to make being healthier easier. But if you do have choices, make the right choice. We're all big boys and big girls, and we know that if we keep on stuffing our face with burgers and French fries and fry this and fry that consistently. Now, again, it's okay to everything in moderation, but when you have the
Cheat
choices
days.
and and you're just choosing the wrong choice every time, you have to know that you're going to not only put yourself in a place to where you're not happy with how you look aesthetically, but health wise,
Yeah.
cardiac disease, killing so many people, especially people of color, and just the fact that life is hard. Why make it hard on yourself by not being healthy and not being able to do the things that are necessary to live the life you want to live? And then when it comes to others, you lead by example. My parents were very intentional about also my dad's a doctor, but just encouraging us to go out ride bikes and to go hiking and to be active. And I was forced to be active by my football career, but still, it's just understanding why it's important to be healthy and understanding the ramifications if you don't. That's a great way to kind of help adults, kids, everyone to make that effort. So I think education on the reasons to be healthy, that's the advice that I would give people who want to be healthy and want others around them to just make sure people understand, why you're doing it and how, based on your decision, you can get two very different outcomes.
Absolutely. And you're right. It's not just about looking good, because the feeling good is what
Yes.
I enjoy the most about being healthy and eating right. And man, if anybody ever asks me like what's one thing you would change if you would go back in time, is I would eat a lot healthier and less burgers.
Well, you made up
That
for it.
would be
I
the
feel like
only change.
you look pretty healthy, Martin. So I mean,
I know.
you had your
Thank you.
fun in your 20s and 30s, and your 40s. I'm sure I don't know how old you are, but you're 41, 42,
52.
52.
52.
Congratulations, dude. So I mean, you had your
Thank you.
fun and you were able to survive. So you survived all those crazy days. So I think you did okay for yourself.
Thank you. It's yeah, I'm lucky to be here. I'm blessed, and I love it, and I love doing what I do, and love doing this podcast now. So it's great. So I got some fun questions, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure.
If you could play an NFL game right now, and you had a choice of picking three team players, kind of
Ooh.
like in school we used to go and line up and
Yeah.
pick, who would your first three picks be?
Well, in their prime,
No,
I
yes,
was
in their prime. In their prime. Yes,
yes,
100%.
in their prime. So one, I would pick Walter Payton because I was a Walter Payton Man of the Year. Very honored to receive that award. But I chose 34 when I got to NFL because I love Walter Payton. I mean, Barry Sanders is great, Emmitt Smith is great, but I'm just a sweetness fan. I would pick Walter Payton, prime Walter Payton. I would then pick my two-way teammate Deion Sanders. Like it's crazy to me that I had Deion's cell phone and like he would answer when I would call. He came to my mother's birthday party and surprised her. I asked her, like, hey, we're having dinner at the restaurant down from the practice facility. I know you're very busy, but can you come by? And he's like, I'll see what I can do. And then like maybe 30 minutes into our dinner, like this guy comes, these two big bodyguards, and he had this big old hoodie on. I was like, is that Prime? That hoodie is huge. Then he took his head, like, hey, what's up, Mr. Mahaley? Happy birthday. He goes, happy birthday. Like Deion sang to my
Oh
mom.
my god.
Like, I mean, that is just crazy. So not only is he an amazing athlete and generational talent, but he's an amazing human being. So I would pick Walter Payton, Deion Sanders, and the next guy that I would have on my team. Oh man, this is a tough one.
Mhm.
There's so many amazing people that I've played with, some that I haven't played with that I've wanted to. I have a lot of respect for Tom Brady. I think he's definitely the GOAT. I played against him. He's wonderful. But he's so good. He knows he's so good. He got a little bit of a jerk to him. Unless you're a Patriots fan, you love that jerky edge that he has. But nah, I had the ability to play with the late great Steve McNair, and in Baltimore before Steve passed, he was a big reason why I had my first All Pro season in Baltimore that allowed me to get that that big contract to Atlanta. And Steve was great about just teaching me details. The devil's in the details. And he would stop after almost every other play in practice, like, Ovie, when you run your routes, do it like this. Ovie, when you would act. He taught me about watching film, and just for whatever reason, he took an interest in me, liking to me. But my first touchdown was again from Steve McNair, and I thought great person, great quarterback. I would choose Steve McNair, Deion Sanders, and Walter Payton as my three players I'm picking, and we're gonna go win every game we play.
That's awesome. Good players to pick.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. Did you see that Tom Brady Super Bowl commercial with where he was a DJ or whatever? The
No,
Dunkin'
see, I
Donut.
gotta go back and watch the Super Bowl commercials. I was doing I was at Harris Casino in North Carolina. I was doing an appearance and autograph signing. And I was like, yeah, they're paying me for this, but why is there no TV in the
Oh my
autograph signing
gosh.
area? I was like, what is going on here? It was so frustrating. It was me and like seven other guys. And so I missed like half the commercials. I missed half the game. We're watching on our phones. Like, this is like, thank you, Harris Casino. But like, we're like, what type of appearance at the Super Bowl doesn't have the Super Bowl showing? So
That's
I
crazy.
missed the commercials, but I heard it was good.
Yeah, it's very funny. There's a bunch of little follow-ups. Just look up Dunkin' Kings or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever it's called. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
pretty funny. Outside of football and healthcare, if you could master any completely unrelated skill
Ooh.
overnight or a hobby, what would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a great one. Outside of football and healthcare, if I could master a skill, what would it be and why? Um, well, it would be. I mean, it go back into sports because this is a sport that I loved, and I just could never play at the highest level. I think baseball players who can hit a fastball are the most impressive human beings in the entire world. Like I have great memories of playing little league and being a slugger. The feel of holding that bat and it vibrate. We hit that ball and see that ball just fly through. You feel so powerful. And if I can be like a big league slugger at a World Series, hitting dingers, home runs, that's a skill that very few people have at the highest level, and I would give anything to have that skill because I never played in a Super Bowl, and but being in the World Series and a Game 7 and being up and two strikes and three balls and bases loaded and then hitting that home run,
Oof.
oh my God, you can just I can die, go to heaven off of that. Like, I would think it's just the most amazing feeling because I respect baseball players so much. And I was on a show with Sports Illustrated for a while where they had Antoine Walker for basketball. They had Danny Graves for the Cardinals baseball. They had Brett Sopel, Chicago Blackhawks. They had me. It was like kind of like the best damn sports show reboot type of thing that SI was trying to do. We filmed in Chicago, and we would all sit in the green room. And we would just talk talk trash about like whose sport is the hardest. And after talking, some very spirited debates, we all figured out that baseball hitting that fastball or the ball that moves around, it's got to be the hardest sport out there, the hardest skill. So I would love to have that skill.
That would be awesome. Yeah. For me, it would be hitting a golf ball straight every time.
Yes, that
Because I
too.
love that feeling
You know
when it
what?
goes straight.
So right after baseball, I would go with you golf because I live on a golf course. I don't have a membership because I don't like golfing. I kind of don't like golf because I'm not good at it. Like I'll go for like all the yucks and the jokes, and I'm not terrible. I'm not one of those guys who's going to hold up the
Yeah.
line because I keep on missing the ball. It's just that when I hit it, like you mentioned, it doesn't go straight. It doesn't go as far as I want it to. And I'm like, how is this little itty bitty twig crushing the ball? And I'm with all my muscles, I'm sitting here and winding up, and then I'm just like, tink. That's it. That's it. So I would love to be a great golfer.
And that's the problem is we try to use our muscles and they just using body work. And it's hard to turn that on. I mean, I
Oh,
struggle with it all the time.
very hard.
So yeah, tough sport. So any last message, whatever you want to say, plug anything you want to plug away at.
Yeah, so again, my foundation's website is omfgreen.org, Ovie Mughelli Foundation green.org. We have our second comic book coming out. If there's anyone who's interested in trying to connect with the next generation and find ways to really educate and inspire these young people, we would love to work with you. And also, with some of the work we do with health management programs for businesses, we
Yes.
have the ability to do some really amazing things for corporations who are really die hard about their people and want to offer the best benefits and even a way to offer more take-home revenue to their employees while also bringing $700 of tax savings to their company. We just say, and I won't name the names, but we have some large hotel chains, some large big box stores, manufacturing, engineering, healthcare people taking advantage of this, and all we need is a conversation. So I'm easy to reach. I think on my website, or you know what? Here's I don't know if I get my website. Well, Martin will get to my information to you, but
I'll put it in.
yeah, there we go. I love to
I'll put it
find
in the
ways to have
description.
conversations to help.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun. Good to learn about the things you're doing and stick to it. Keep going. Resilience. And you're
Resilience, buddy.
looking
Got to do it.
looking good.
Hey,
Damn, you
I'm
look
feeling
good.
good, and this is just the beginning, man. 'Cause I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get down, but then I'm gonna get cut up because I'm lean, but I ain't built yet. My beach body is not quite there. It's getting there, but we'll see. Got a little bit more to go.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll see you on that beach somewhere in Hawaii or Bahamas or wherever you want to meet up. We'll be there.
Everywhere.
Awesome. Sounds good. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, Martin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Leadership Talks. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful conversations with industry leaders. Your support means a lot to us.